Stas23 here, and today we have some new Oknife gear, 2 knives and a light. We'll get started with this. This is the Oknife Freeze 3. I really enjoyed the Freeze 2. I reviewed this one a while back. I didn't love the carbon fiber, but they came out with a G10 one. Talk about smooth. Just look at this. Oop, super smooth, snappy action. Excellent little knife. So these, I think, unfortunately, are sold out at the moment. I've been trying to take off on Sundays, and that's whenever you could start the post. So I apologize for that, but I'm sure they will be coming back in stock soon. But there is a huge sale going on the Oknife site and the Olight site. I will have links down in the description. If you see anything you like that is not on sale, you can get 10% off with code STASA23. So let's check this out. You have a pretty big knife here, and I think this is the first time I've seen Oknife use Damascus. And most of the time, whenever you're seeing Damascus come from this, the 9CR Damascus, and you have this wicked cleaver-shaped blade with that upsweep right there, dual fullers on both sides. It's pretty attractive. It's like a polished, as you can see, it's very reflective. It's a polished Damascus. Came with a really good edge, and we did all our normal testing with this. I really enjoyed that straight edge for doing like detailed drag cuts, and it really shined in those type of cuts and in doing like hardwood, rope, and stuff like that where you're holding something in your hand. It performed really nicely. Now, it's not the thinnest behind the edge. I didn't even take a measurement, but it's a very sharp grind because of, the cleaver blade shaping of that fuller. So it's I think about 22 to 23 thousandths behind the edge, somewhere around that area. It performed fine. Got a nice long row of jimping, and I like the full forward finger choil they have. You can get right up on that edge to do some fine detail work. And everything that I did, it did good. Like I said, the only time that I saw it starting to struggle, whenever I started cutting on the flat surfaces, initially when I was doing the, like tubing and the denim and stuff like that, it did struggle a little bit because whenever you have that straight edge and you don't have, it's not straight, it's got a very slight belly to it, but whenever you don't have, a little bit of an arc, when you're cutting down on a flat surface, you're not getting that much surface area because that tip is hitting the board before you're actually going through it. So you can see whenever I do the rope cutting that I lift the rope up onto a little piece of wood block, and that makes the job way, way easier. If I'm cutting something, no matter what, if I can make it easier, that's how I'm going to do it. Of course, you can't always do that, but that's just the drawbacks you get from, a pretty much straight cutting edge. Other than that, it's a very powerful cutter. In that choke up position, you can get a lot of force into whatever you're cutting. The handle scales were nice and comfortable. They are beautifully contoured. You have a smooth G10. They're not, super slick or anything. They are smooth though. Can't even feel the transition between the black and the blue G10. That's pretty cool. You do have a somewhat of a guard from that flipper tab, and never once did I feel like I was gonna the knife was gonna slip out of my hands or anything, and I felt secure with that flipper right there. Like I said, though, that choke up position was probably my favorite spot whenever I really wanted to get some force down into whatever I was cutting. And like I said earlier, this is a pretty full-size knife. It's an 8.75 inch overall length with a 3.8 inch blade. That's very, very nice. To me, that's a full-size knife. I usually carry, 3 to 3.5 inch, but I do enjoy carrying these bigger blades sometimes. Because of that full forward finger choil, you have about 3 inches of cutting edge, which, is not bad, especially for having a a finger choil. All right, let's close it up and take a look at the action. You got a nice drop shut action, of course, because you got that heavier, thick cleaver blade. You got 2 means of deployment. You can either use the fuller tabs on both sides, which that's my go-to method. Do the reverse flick, or if you want to slow roll it out, you can. Now, it flips just fine. It's on bearing, so it's nice and smooth. But as you can see, that flipper tab is almost completely behind that pivot. So you're not going to get the leverage you would get if that flipper was up some. Now, of course, it was kind of hard to do that because the way this curves right here. But like I said, I can still get it to come out. And if I want it to come out a little bit faster, I can load it up and do the push button. Like I said, I enjoy doing the reverse flick more, so that's my go-to. But just something I wanted to share that, you know, you're not going to get a super snappy deployment because of, you know, the heavier blade and that flipper being back further. Now, if it was forward up some with that heavier blade, it would come rocketing out, but that will slow down the momentum just a little bit. These scales are done beautifully. Like I said, you have contour G10, black up here in the front, like a bolster up here, and blue in the back, nice and smooth. You have a blue pivot ring, or I can't really tell. It looks like it's part of that screw. They just might have milled out in the middle. You have a deep carry, tip up, left or right-handed pocket clip. I really like this pocket clip. I like it aesthetically. They countersunk it into the frame, and the screws are countersunk. It holds the knife nicely, and you just have a little bit sticking out. Now, it is a little bit wider in the pocket because of the cleaver-shaped blade. Check out the lockup, sitting at around 40% or so. Bank vault, absolutely no play, any direction. Good access to that lock bar. Nice and smooth on that closure. Quick size comparison between the Ontario Rat Model 1 and 2. It's actually a little bit longer than the Rat Model 1. A quick weight, first in grams, 152.6 grams or 5.38 ounces. Not bad for as much steel as you got on this knife. Only have 2 real complaints, and they're really nitpicks. I don't think you need Damascus written on the blade unless that's like a requirement or something. And you don't really need the name either because it's on the box. Like I said, the flipping action is hindered a little bit because of how far that flipper tab is back, but it still is nice and smooth, so not really an issue. But overall, I think it's a well-made knife. It's a good-looking knife if you like that style of blade. The aesthetics don't really do it for me, but other than that, it was comfortable, it was slicey, and it was a powerful type cutter. Now, this is the Rubato 3x0 knife, and I was excited, really excited for this one because I liked this Rubato 2 right here. This is probably one of my favorite O-knife knives. Absolutely love it. Excellent action with that crossbar lock. Nice micarta. So I was kind of excited to see what, you know, the next one in line. I'm guessing the Rubato's, the crossbar lock series. This one has textured aluminum. As you can see, you have this pattern in there. I think it looks nice. Nice deployment on it. Beautiful drop point blade that came stupid sharp. It's in 154 cm steel, and man, oh man, did this thing perform outstanding. You got a nice thin tip in the front for doing drag cuts and piercing tasks. You got a perfect amount of belly to easily cut on a flat surface comfortably in a pinch grip. And for my hands, my medium-sized hands, I still have a full 4-finger grip, so I can get a lot of pressure behind whatever I'm cutting. I thought it performed excellent with everything I cut, and the edge actually had a lot of aggression to it. We'll check out both the edges at the end, but this one passed through all the material very well. And I enjoyed doing it because of, you know, having that little bit of belly up front. Makes it a lot easier than, say, a cleaver-shaped blade with that straight. You're limited. This one is pretty much, you know, like the jack of all trades type of blade. That's why drop points are so popular. It's almost, I guess you could call this a clip point because it's not like a rounded right here. It drops down, so I don't know what they call it. They might call it a clip. I'm not sure. But either way, it performed nicely, and I enjoyed using it the entire time. I didn't have any real issues. Now, it's not a huge blade. You got a total length on it at 6.75 inches, so it's a more medium size, maybe smaller to some people, and you have a 2.9-inch blade length. So it's going to be legal in a lot of areas, and, you know, some people may want something bigger than that. But for me, my EDC task, I can get done just about everything I need to with at least I like around a 3 and up. But I find 3-inch and, right at 3-inch is a great EDC size. They're easy to carry. And if you're not going to carry it, then what's the point of having it? As far as I'm saying, like, the size of the blade, you could get a 7-inch blade, a cold steel or something. But for me, that's just not something I can easily carry. So I find myself carrying, these more. I did a short on that today, actually, about the size knives I like to carry. So if you hadn't seen that, go check it out. I appreciate it. Not sure if I said it on this one, but I did say it on the Rubato 2. The blade steel on this is 154 cm, and they do a good job. It holds an edge good. It still feels like it's nice and sharp. We will test that, and this is a factory edge. It does have a sharpening choil that clears the plunge, and you'll have about a sharpening or two before it starts to widen up back there. You should still be able to, widen it up some the way it's set up where that crossbar lock actually interacts. It actually comes down right there in the front. So you can extend it if you needed to. You do have a small row of fine cut jimping on the top of the spine. I overshoot it for the most part, but not something that I really, felt like I needed. For the most part, the ergos were comfortable in just about every grip that I tried. Reverse grip, hammer grip, saber grip. Everything was pretty darn comfortable. I did notice whenever I put a lot of pressure into it, because it's a smaller handle and you have that higher clip, I did feel the clip in the back, but it wasn't painful or anything. I was easily able to adjust my grip and move around it. So nothing to really get concerned about, at least for me. Knife has excellent action. It's a crossbar lock, like I said. Beautiful. As soon as you pull that back, it's a free dropper. There's no friction whatsoever once you release that crossbar lock. It's riding on bearings. It's nice and snappy, very comfortable thumb studs. I can reverse flick it pretty easily. And being that this is a crossbar lock and it's tipped far left to right hand carry, it's completely ambidextrous. I love the look of those aluminum scales with that hexagonal pattern on there. It looks like a beehive or something. Looks really nice. Doesn't really add any extra grip to it. And it is a little slick. I had no problems with it feeling like it was going to come out of my hands or anything, but there's not a whole lot of texture there. Flow-through construction, 2-hour-glass standoffs. You do have a lanyard hole for the lanyard people there. Would have been nice to see a little pin put back here instead of putting a hole in those scales. The black coating on the knife held up fine. No problems there. Quick size comparison between the Ontario Rat Model 2 and the Oknife Rubato 2. Both of these are a little bit longer. And lastly, we have the QSP Penguin and the Petrified Fish Mini Beluga. Mini Beluga is almost identical in overall length. It may be a hair longer, but a very good size reference there. All right, now let's see how the edges are after the cutting we did. Yeah, still a really good edge there. And let's see how this Damascus held up. Yeah, the Damascus held up good. I do feel there's one drag right in the middle. There must be a small either roll or something. See it? It's catching up. So overall, this one held up a little bit better. This little light is the Gobber. And I enjoyed carrying it. I clipped it to my shirt when I walk the dog at night because our subdivision is a little bit trafficky. It's got a nice USB-C charging port that's sealed off. And it's, not a super bright light. It's 4 lumens on constant mode for 11 hours. So it's going to last a good while before we have to charge it up again. And there's other functions. Hold down the button to turn on. And it has several different colors. You have red, and then green. The next color is blue, and then you have a white at the end. Now, if you want, you can double click the power button, and then you'll have the flashing mode. I'm sorry, there's double click right here, and you'll have flashing mode. As you can see, it's going to start to flash. And, pretty cool if you need to, signal or, you know, you put it for your bike. Then you press it 3 times and you go to SOS mode, as you can see. And you can do these modes on whatever color you were on last. And it'll keep on flashing. I think the SOS mode will go for 25 hours. And then double click and you're back to your flash mode. And then long click to turn it off. So overall, I enjoyed all these a lot. The Rubato 3 is probably my favorite. It just, I like the blade shape more. It can do a lot more of the type of things I like to do. The Freeze 3 is definitely well made. It's a good looking knife if you like cleaver shaped blades, comfortable, and both of them have nice action on them. And I'll tell you what, I didn't think I would get much use out of this Gobber, but I've been putting this either on my hat, the back of my hat, or on my belt, or on my shirt whenever I walk my dog, because sometimes we have a lot of traffic in our neighborhood at night, and you know, I don't want to get hit by a car or anything, so I can put on one of these lights, and it's been working pretty good. And with the white light, when I need to get into the house with my key or something, it actually helps. It's like 4 lumens. And yeah, I like the little clip system. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. Make sure to check all the links down in the description. Like I said, I think the Freeze 3, I think they're sold out. I apologize. Nothing really I can do about that. But I will have links for both of these, and I'm pretty sure they're still available. If this is not on sale, use code STASA23 for 10% off. All right, guys and girls, I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.